I don't trust politicians. I don't care if they're a Democrat or a Republican. I don't trust them. Donald Trump called Ted Cruz Lion Ted throughout the entire 2016 campaign. And now Beto O'Rourke is doing it. I don't necessarily trust Ted Cruz. We have a story right now from from the Washington Times about Nancy Pelosi. And it says, Pelosi on the collateral damage of Democrats' economic policies, so be it. I believe it was Ben Shapiro. I could be wrong, but some people on the right said that it was Ben Shapiro on Fox News. He said that if Democrats take control of the House, they will try their best to damage the economy so they can blame it on Trump. Now, I think, look, we're coming into the midterms, we're a couple weeks out, and you're going to start seeing attacks go crazy. In fact, I've got another video coming up in just a minute of Trump, going after Democrats. So I don't necessarily want to believe that all Democrats want to tank the economy. I think there's probably a lot of good people in politics. However, I do feel that based on what we've seen in the media over the past several years, there are a lot of Democrats who care for nothing but their own power. The same is true for Republicans. Republicans are in power, so they don't need to resort to these kinds of underhanded tactics. The left, they're not in power. The Democrats are not in power. Bill Maher even said, bring on the recession. And this gets me worried that the Democrats actually do want to cause economic damage so they can blame Trump and then try and win in 2020. In this story, let's just read through it. I think the story is a little hyperbolic, but they do have a quote from Nancy Pelosi. It says, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi said, American voters will simply have to deal with the collateral damage that comes their way if Democrats craft economic policies in the years ahead. The California Democrat recently sat down with New York Times columnist Paul Krugman in the Big Apple to discuss public policy. The event, hosted by the Jewish organization 92nd Street Y, included a portion on climate change that sparked the lawmaker's pronouncement. She said, we owe the American people to be there for them, for their financial security, respecting the dignity and worth of every person in our country. And if there is some collateral damage for some others who do not share our view, well, so be it. But it shouldn't be our original purpose, she said Sunday. Her commentary came against a political backdrop in which the U.S. unemployment rate is at a 49-year low, 3.7%, in conjunction with moderate inflation. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said earlier this month, for instance, that Americans are enjoying a historically rare economic climate. Mrs. Pelosi added that Democrats may find areas of compromise with Republicans on policies related to infrastructure, the Washington Free Beacon reported Thursday. So let me see if I'm getting this straight. It sounds like they asked about climate change policies. All right, so it says a portion on climate change that sparked the lawmaker's pronouncement. And that what Nancy Pelosi is effectively saying, I could be wrong, but this is my take on it, that the Democrats need to enact policies that ensure we reverse climate change, we protect our environment. In doing so, they need to make sure they take into consideration the dignity and lives of individuals and why the economy is so important to them. However, there may be some collateral damage. I gotta say, I think it's rather alarmist to call Nancy Pelosi out for that because I do find that to be pragmatic, rather. I mean, look, you guys know that I lean left. I think the environment is very important. We can't live if we don't have a place to live in. So in a lot of senses, I'm absolutely for environmental regulations, like a lot. Like I'm totally liberal left on this issue. I don't think it's when I hear her say that, I'm not as concerned as probably a lot of Republicans. There's a lot of people on the right who think the climate change is, they're overestimating everything, that it may not be true. I've seen a lot of people tweet this out. And when you see something like this from Nancy Pelosi, you know this is going to be bad for you. For me, I'm like, yeah, I get it, right? If Nancy Pelosi wants to enact environmental regulations and it's going to cause damage to the economy, I understand why that is bad. I understand why people are not going to vote for Democrats because of that. It's a double-edged sword. We need to protect the environment, but the economy is really important too because, look, you can't live if the economy is in turmoil, and you can't live if you have no environment to live in. So it's a double-edged sword, and I think this is why it's a really fair divide between the left and the right. But hold on. It's not just this, right? When I hear Nancy Pelosi say something like this, and it's in the context of climate change, I'm not inside, yeah, that sucks, right? I don't know if I agree with that. That's a tough position. However, when we look at statements from, say, Bill Maher, where he wishes for a recession, look, I actually like Bill Maher, I do. But he said, bring on the recession. I have to wonder if this is just an excuse. Because as I mentioned earlier, Ben Shapiro says, look, the Democrats are going to try and obstruct and tank the economy to blame Republicans. So I don't believe I trust Nancy Pelosi when she's saying in the context of the environment, look, I don't know exactly what the context was, but if the idea is that, look, we have to help the environment, oh, it's going to hurt the economy, yeah, then they'll go and blame the Republicans for the bad economy. They'll blame, and not just in multiple ways. Not only will they say, oh, it's Republican policies hurting the economy, they're probably going to say, oh, it's the destruction of the environment that's also hurting the economy. Bill Maher, on his show, wished for a recession for no reason other than to depose Donald Trump. And that's why I don't trust people, period. Why would you wish for a recession? If Donald Trump's doing something that's working, what's the problem? Right? Being mad at Donald Trump because you think he's a bad person, because he's snide, because he's mean, because he represents everything wrong with American culture, point those things out. And by all means, listen, you can hate the man personally, but I believe that if you want to challenge him politically, you have to talk about why his policies are bad. There is a lot wrong, in my opinion, with the attitude of Donald Trump and how that reflects on America around the world. However, the economy, according to the other story, we've got the Fed chairman saying it's a historically rare economy. Everything's going really, really well. Life is good for a lot of people. Why would you want to disrupt that simply because you don't like Donald Trump? That to me is worrisome. So in this story, this is actually from June. Bill Maher doubled down tonight on his hope that an economic recession might turn the country against Donald Trump. During the New Rules segment on HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher tonight, the host directly addressed anyone who went apeshit the last 2 weeks since he first mentioned the recession as a weapon in the battle against Trump. A recession is a survivable event, Maher said. What Trump is doing to this country is not. Democracy is about to go the way of the dinosaurs because we've been taken over by a dodo bird. So let me repeat. A recession is a survivable event. We've survived one every time a Republican is in the White House. Every Republican president since Teddy Roosevelt has presided over a recession. The United States has survived 47 recession in all. Since the Great Depression, we've never gone more than 10 years without one. Another recession is coming, not because I'm rooting for it, but because someone passed a giant tax giveaway to the rich that added trillions to the debt and started a trade war for no reason and deliberately sabotaged the Affordable Care Act and rolled back the rules for banks so they can once again gamble with our money. Maher specifically took on numbers of the right-wing notosphere who, he said, painted him as a bigger threat to the U.S. security than Canada. Like Laura Ingraham, who incorrectly said Maher wanted economic collapse, and Alex Jones, who Maher said tweeted that HBO host has $100 million, a figure picked up by others on the right. All I have to say about that is, I do? I'm out of here. He reserved his sharpest attack for Mike Cernovich, the alt-right social media personality who apparently pointed out that suicides increase during recession, thus accusing Maher of wanting people to die. Yes, said Maher sarcastically, specifically Mike Cernovich, who he suggested should stick his head in an oven so starving kids can use it for food. That's weird. No, I don't want that, Maher retreated, getting serious. I don't know who the F you are, Mike Cernovich, but I want you to live a long, healthy life and get the help you so desperately need. So, I think this is a fair clarification from Maher. However, to play it up like, look, Bill Maher said, bring on the recession. He's now saying, yeah, but look, Trump is a bad person. We can survive a recession. He's still calling for a recession. So I have to wonder then, when Nancy Pelosi says there will be collateral damage, are we actually looking at a politician who wants to be fair and really does believe in doing the right thing, or a desperate Democrat who thinks they're going to lose and must do everything in their power to make sure they win 2020? I don't trust politicians. And honestly, I don't know. Because I'm a milk toast fence sitter, according to some people. I love that. That's a compliment, by the way. I don't know who to trust. But I'll tell you this. Maher, Pelosi, if you want me to vote in your direction, you better do better than that. You need to do better than this. Saying we can survive a recession doesn't make me feel better. I don't... Look, Trump's policies. Bill Maher has a bunch of things here. He says the tax giveaway is bad. He's saying that we're in a trade war. All these things are bad. Yeah, but a lot of people on the right are saying these are good things. You're not doing anything to convince me. All you're saying is, trust me, they're bad and things are going to get worse, but don't worry, we'll survive. While Trump is saying we're winning, we're going to keep winning, things are getting better. Things are getting better. Who am I supposed to believe? I don't know why I'm such a politically active, middle-of-the-road person. I genuinely just want to understand what is the best course of action. I don't necessarily trust the Republicans and Trump. Of course they're going to claim everything's great. They want to remain in power. But the economy is doing well. So who am I going to trust? The economy is doing better than ever. Unemployment is at a 49-year low. Okay? Unemployment, it's like 3.7%. It's ridiculously low. So things are doing great. But then you have Bill Maher and Nancy Pelosi saying incoming collateral damage, incoming recession, and I'm like, but those things sound bad. Outside of what is true or isn't. Think about this. We're coming into the midterms, and you've got Trump saying things are better than ever. You've got economists going, things are better than ever. Like they're better than they have been in a really long time. And you have the left going, bring on the recession. Things might get bad. There's going to be collateral damage. Whether or not either side is telling the truth or not, one side is doomsaying and one side is cheering. I can only imagine this is bad for Democrats, whether it's true or not. And I guess the reason I want to talk about this is I'm sitting here as a center-left independent type person who just doesn't know what the right choice is. But I'll tell you what, when it comes to sales, it doesn't matter if what you're selling works. All that matters is the confidence of the salesperson. I used to do fundraising. It is a fact. If you go up to someone and say, very humbly, I don't believe that I have the best widget on the market, but it's pretty good, and trust me, it'll work out for you. Someone's gonna go, really? And then all of a sudden Trump comes up and goes, we got the best widgets, we're winning nonstop, our widgets are everywhere, you can look at the numbers, our widgets are good, buy our widgets. And someone's gonna be like, that guy's confident, he's giving me the guarantee and he's showing me the numbers. Why should I vote for a Democrat when they're actually telling me things are about to get worse? They're doomsaying. I guess that's all they have. Because if what's going on right now is working, if the economy is better, then what do they have to campaign on other than Trump is bad and what he's doing might sound good but will not work in the long run? I don't know. Things are good. You tell me. Comment below. I got a couple more videos coming up in just a few minutes, so stick around.